Making new friends is hard. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes you have different interests. And sometimes a potential new friend turns out to be somebody you don't want to know. For first Assistant Director Craig Borden, a hangout with a new friend turned out to be a truly horrifying experience.
Okay, so this happened about 20 years ago when I moved to Los Angeles. I used to work with a group of people that we were all friendly with and used to hang out with. And me and my good buddy used to know this guy who day played with us a bunch of times, and then he had a side business fixing Mac computers. We knew him really well. He used to talk about his grandmother and how he lived with his granny, lived down in Venice Beach. So I knew him pretty well, and I asked him if he could fix my computer because I was having a problem with it. So me and my buddy on the weekend went down to his place, to his house in Venice Beach where he lived with his grandmother. And when we entered his house, he's like, please be really quiet. My granny's sleeping in the bedroom. I don't want to wake her up. So he invited us in and we were hanging out with him. He started taking a look at the computer, asked us if we wanted a beer. We started drinking some beers with him. We'd been there for a few hours. He ends up going into a room, coming back. He pulled out some marijuana, asked us if we wanted to smoke. So then in turn, we ended up getting high. We were drinking, so we weren't completely sober. At 2 or 3, 4 hours into the day, he invites us into his room, still having to be quiet because we didn't want to wake the grandmother up. We go into the room. He went into his closet and he pulled out this big box of pictures, magazines, and stuff, and he pulls out this magazine, Barely Legal. And he starts showing us these pictures of these very young-looking girls. Me and my friend were like looking at each other that thought this was kind of weird, but didn't really say anything. And then he started showing us pictures of 15, 16, and 17-year-old girls naked. And it seemed like he was trying to get a response out of us, which was really starting to freak us out and starting to scare us a little bit. He ended up pulling out, he had a whole stack of videotapes. He pulled out the videotapes and started showing us videos of him having sex with underage girls. And we really didn't want to be there anymore. He leaves the room to go to the bathroom, and I turn to my buddy. I'm just like, we got to get out of here, but I totally forgot about the grandmother. We haven't heard a word out or a peep out of her in this whole time we've been here. Do you think she actually is in that room? And he's like, I don't know, but one of us has to go in and find out. And I was like, there's no way in hell that I'm going in there. And me and him started arguing back and forth for a couple of minutes, and I was like, F it, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go in there. You distract him, keep him busy, and I'm gonna go in and check the room. I walked out, I went down to Granny's bedroom. I slowly opened the door and crept in, and what I saw was a perfectly made bed, hospital corners, not a wrinkle in it. I saw a glass with liquid and dentures sitting on the nightstand. I saw a walker sitting next to a club chair, and then I saw this house dress, this floral print house dress that was draped over the back of the club chair, and there was no woman in there. I just started shaking and I turned white. I went out of the room, I went back into the other guy's bedroom, and I told my buddy, I'm like, we gotta get out of here, it's getting late, we gotta go. We gotta go. We left his house and we started driving, and he goes, what did you see in there? So I told him what I saw in there, and he goes, there's no way you're bullshitting me. He goes, you're shaking too hard and too scared to actually be lying, and you're not that good of an actor. I went and I called the police the next day, and I reported everything to the police about this potential child molester, which they told me that this is the MO for child molesters. I guess especially this was back before the internet, and he said this is how they set up their networks and feel people out to see if they're interested in stuff like that. And I reported this stuff to the police. But when I went into the bedroom and I saw that the grandmother wasn't there, it was the most horrific, horrifying experience of my life.